Hey, guess what, kids? You'll never guess. Go ahead, try.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, kids. You're younger than me. Makes you a kid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What?
We're going to find more zeros.
More zeros.
By hand.
By hand.
Again.
Okay, so we can factor out an x to start off with here. I think that'd be a good way to go, don't you?
I mean, you could probably factor out a square root of 79/8, but it wouldn't help.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so now the thing is, I think we want to remind them how to do this right here, how to factor this.
And there's a couple different ways that you can do it. You
Yeah.
get to stick with the way that works best for you. You could always guess and check, which can sometimes be really difficult.
Yep.
So which way are you going to show them?
I'd like to show them slide and divide.
Excellent. Not one of my personal choices, actually.
Really?
But, yeah.
What do you normally pick?
I do that cool square thing. Perhaps we could trade off and show both ways.
Okay, so
All right.
slide and divide is where you slide what's in front over to the last number so that you end up with x squared minus x. You multiply these. 3 times -2 is -6. That's the slide part. You factor like you normally would. So this actually is very similar to what the last one was, but with a -3 and a +2. And then at the end, you have to do the divide part because it's called slide and divide. You divide both of these numbers by whatever we slid at the beginning. And so if it does reduce, you reduce it. Like, so this is x minus 1. If it doesn't reduce or doesn't reduce completely and you end up with a fraction, you move the bottom of the fraction in front of your x. So this would be 3x plus 2. So that's how you would factor 3x squared minus x using slide and divide.
So, and slide and divide is great. It's not my personal one. So what I would do is
You might not want to write over there because you tend to cut that off whenever you...
I do the box method.
Oh, okay, you're fine. The box method, it's a magical box.
It's a magic box, and...
it looks like, what are those called? The Punnett squares in genetics and biology, where you're splicing genes together to make somebody really tall and have a unibrow.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to take 3x squared and put it here. I have no idea what she was just talking about. Something and we're going to put -2 here. And then we're just going to say, hey, 3x squared times -2, what would that be?
-6x squared.
And it would be -6x squared. So we go, hey, what times what is -6? That adds up to -1. And guess what? It's going to be -3x and +2x. And so now we just factor out on the top row, factor out the greatest common factor on the top and bottom row, and that's going to be a 3x. And on the bottom, it's going to be a 2. So hey, check it out. We match.
Because that's 3x plus 2.
3x plus 2. The other way that we could do it, then to get our other piece, we factor out up and down. And so this guy, the greatest common factor from this is just going to be x. And look, a negative sign and a negative sign make a -1. Because that's the biggest number I can get out of both of those. So I end up with the exact same thing.
Yes. Either way you want to do it.
Either way you want to do it. And if one of those ways is confusing to you, by all means, don't do it.
Yeah. So now we've successfully figured out what it is when we factor it. We have x in front still, and then we need x minus 1, 3x plus 2. We need to find the zeros, which means we still have to set these equal to 0 and solve. Well, the first one's easy. We have x equals 0. The second one's easy. X minus 1 equals 0 means x equals +1.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yes. And then 3x plus 2 equals 0. We'd have to subtract the 2 over and divide by 3. And if you can do that in your head, that's fine. That's a reasonable thing to be able to do in your head. So x equals -2/3 on that last one.
And there's all your zeros, and that's... it took us a little while longer, but we factored twice.
Yeah, we showed you 2 ways. So whichever way you choose, do it that way.